Well, hello everyone and welcome to Sublime Media. I'm Jonas and I show records. That's what I do. Usually used records, and this time it's going to be a mixed bag, but still in the sort of rock and psych, prog, folk kind of bag. Obviously, if you haven't already, just click that subscribe button. That would be awesome, and give it a thumbs up, because the thumbs up helps YouTube push your videos, and that would be awesome. But without further ado, cue music. So I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna start with my favorite find, and this is one hell of a find. It's one of my favorite records of all time. It was released in 1968, and I've had the reissue for a while. When I found this record, and it's not too long ago, my mind was really blown away. I didn't think that there were any sort of pop psych records left to find when it comes to those perfect records. And this is definitely up there with Odyssey and Oracle's Pet Sounds, Sgt. Pepper. You know, those classic psychedelic pop records. But in this case, I mean, this is, yeah, it's definitely at least on par. And I finally have an original press of this. This is the Millennium Begins 1968. This is the first US press that I was able to find on the Swedish fair in Hova. Bought it by a great guy called Stefan Dimler. We have talked, and I have a conversation, an interview with him on my channel. Check that out. He deals with very, very good stuff. This was, I got it for a great price. It's not a perfect copy, but it's definitely enjoyable. There are some pops and ticks on some tracks, others are just dead quiet. I'm really enjoying this, and yeah, obviously if you don't know what it is, check it out. I'm going to fly through some cheapos here, and these are all recommended. I didn't know about, I knew about one, but the others were totally sort of surprises from the big collection. This is Cold Blood 1969, I think, and it definitely has that sort of Jefferson Airplane or Big Brother and the Holding Company sort of vibe to it. Great, definitely recommended, and cheap. The next one is Open Up Your Soul by Jimmy James on Pagey in this case. And I don't know if he did it, but Red Red Wine by Neil Diamond. You know that famous UB40 hit? He does a version of it. This is much better. So a keeper, if only for that track, but it's a great soulful record, and it's cheap. The next one, not super duper cheap, but still cheap. If you like those kind of horn, jazz, rock records from late 60s, early 70s, like Chicago's Blood, Sweat and Tears, you know the deal. You will love this. This is so killer. I had no idea about this, and it blew me away. It's definitely up there with all those records. Balling Jack, I think this is English first press of that. A little bit like, maybe like if the other ones were 10-15 euro records, maybe this is a 20 euro record, 25. And the last one of the sort of cheapos is Klaus Sherning's Nasavu, something like that. The Danish ambient composer and performer. This is third, I think, from 1982. A very sort of ambient, sparse, calm, meditational almost record. Fantastic. Again, not as good as his first one in my opinion, but a lot of people are saying that this is a better one. You can get this dirt cheap, and everyone should pick this up. One day I will own a first press of this, but I've had like a 2-for-1 kind of deal with this. I had reissues, and now it's been years since I had it at all. The follow-up is a better record in my opinion. I have an early press of that. So finally I have an early press of this also. But as I said, not a first press. This is a 1971, something like that. Music from Big Pink by the band. Classic. I mean, I'm glad to have a US press of it. It's iconic. It's great. I don't know. Not much has to be said about this that hasn't already been said. Cover artwork by Bob Dylan. They do 1 or 2 Dylan tracks on this one. And it's a masterpiece. The band were something in their own genre. Like groups can sound like the band, but they will never be the band. They will never come up to that sort of level like the band did. Yeah, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, the next one is Steamhammer Reflection, the debut record from 1969, I think. And from the same year, 1969, came Mark II, a record that I have since before. This is awesome. Like, great English blues rock all the way. Maybe I would wish it to be a little bit more heavy, to be a full-blown sort of, but there are great tracks on this one. And I think that they went a little bit more progressive later on. This is more in that sort of standard late 60s English blues rock. And talking about blues rock, in 1969, Juicy Lucy was formed, and in 1973, they released this record. Juicy Lucy with Pieces. And again, a great one. It seems like if Steamhammer went more progressive later on, it seems like Juicy Lucy maybe took it a step back and got a little bit more softer. I don't know. This is from on Polydor, German first press, as I said. There's the label there. Their fourth release, not as good as the first 2 on Vertigo, I have to say. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because I love the Vertigo label, but yeah, it's still a great one. If you find it cheap, get it. Okay, this next one, I have a little bit of a hard time wrapping my head around it, because it's definitely a little bit psychedelic, bluesy, garagey maybe, and you have the fantastic Leon Russell on it. I'm talking about Asylum Choir with Look Inside. They released 2 records. This is from 1968, I think, and the next one was maybe in the beginning of the 70s. And I don't know if this is like a project or if it was a full-grown band. I can't really find information on Leon Russell's involvement in the music, but I read that he produced it. Maybe you guys know. Please write in the comments. And this is a classic picture, isn't it? This one with Leon Russell on it. Highly recommend it. This is like a 10, 15, maybe 20 euro record. So yeah, if you find it for that price, I would snag it up, definitely. The next one, Karen Beth, The Joy of Life, US, I think first press, 1969. This is a singer-songwriter folk record, really, with Karen Beth, which is awesome. Unfortunately, this was a little bit of I took a little bit of a chance on this one. Hope that it was graded worse than it really actually was, but it wasn't. It is a VG copy maybe. And with this sort of delicate, with her voice and stuff like that, you need this to be a good copy. So I'm gonna try to sell it, or I don't know, something like that. But highly recommended. It's going into the collection until I sold it. Tumbleweed is one of those labels that is just, yeah, surprising all the time. You never see them here in Sweden. I don't, anyway. They feel a little bit like this US private press. I don't know. I get that sort of, that tingle in my tummy when I see the label and I hear the music. And this has been on the want list for quite some time. This is the first one that I ever sort of noticed with Tumbleweed and added to the want list. It's not super rare, it's not super expensive, it's just that I never see it other than in the States, and the shipping would ruin it, and you know the deal. I won't keep you hanging. This is Rob Kunkel, or Kunkel, I don't know how to pronounce that, with Abyss, and that fantastic artwork. Really haunting, in my opinion. This is a folk record, like, feels, like I said, a little bit private pressed ish. Yeah, highly recommended if you're into that sort of loner, a little bit loner folk maybe. Not hard to get, just if you live on the right side of the globe. So I don't know how long I've had their fourth record, really. I think it's like 15 or 20 years ago, something like that. I went to a state sale or whatever it's called, and you know, they had these kind of the books with records, LPs in it, like 25 LPs in plastic sleeves, like books of records. So I flipped through that and pulled some of them out, and some of them are still in my collection. And this fourth one, when I came home, played it, it blew my mind. They do a cover of Down by the River, I think, by Neil Young. So I've been looking for the other records by them, but never stumble upon them. And I never see them like out in stores and on Swedish eBay and stuff like that. So I finally caved. I bought some records by a guy online on Discogs, and this was it. So this is the debut record by Fever Tree, just self-titled record. So 1968, this is a UK first press on Uni. It would be nice to have a US, but I mean, beggars can't be choosers, right? And how to describe this? Yeah, it's Psych, definitely. Maybe a little bit more Psych than the fourth record that I can compare it to, which is maybe a little bit more heavy. This is more in that sort of 60s vein. Fantastic cover artwork, highly recommended. And now I just have to see if I can hunt down the second and third. Some of the best work that Robert Wyatt did was with Matching Mole, in my opinion, and this is the best Matching Mole record, so go figure. It is 1972. Yeah, Robert Wyatt, Phil Miller, David Sinclair, and Bill McCormick. This is such a fantastic record. There's not a dull moment on this. There's not a single bad second on it. There's the label there. It's just so beautiful. And I mean, if you like Robert Wyatt's voice and you haven't heard this is the sort of the peak of his vocal performance. So fragile, but still on point. I don't know what to say more than that. This is so highly recommended, and I'm glad to have this now. They only released 2 records, and I have both of them in my collection now. Okay, a little bit of a krautrock record that's been on my want list for a while. I got it for a great price, but it's not in the best shape ever. This is Yulin Spiegel 2. And this is the second press, and you can see that this is the second press because the first press was even worse. It had the chicken and the egg, and also here in this dark place here was a fried sort of chicken leg or something like that. So very sort of nasty. Yulin Spiegel, they began as another band called, and I'm reading here, Royal Servants in 1971. They released one record called We, and that's why this one was called Second, even if it's Yulin Spiegel's first record. And after this, they released 2 more, I think. So this is the second press, as I said, from the same year, 1971, on the fantastic Spiegel label with that egg. Look at that. It's awesome record label. Not the best German record I have ever listened to. Definitely not the worst. I wouldn't buy it if it was the worst. It has a lot of German song, which in my opinion maybe drags the record down a little bit, but it's still krauty, a little bit more on the heavy side maybe. So yeah, highly recommended. Check it out, see if it's your bag. Okay, this next band I think most of you know about. I have the reissue on Spoon Records that was officially reissued in 2014, maybe 15. Time flies. But obviously I wanted this is one of my favorite bands. I wanted a earlier press, and a first press would be awesome, but earlier pressings, and the opportunity arose and I got this one. This is Can's Soundtracks. It's not a first press or or anything like that. It's maybe a mid-70s reissue of this, but it's still closer to the source than my 2014 reissue. Sound-wise, this sounds as good as the reissue, because the reissue does not sound bad. Absolutely not. On the contrary, they are really, really good pressed records. But it's nice to have a used sort of early press of Can records. Yeah, as I said, one of my favorite bands of all time. I think this was released 1970, so one of the earliest ones. Obviously have some of the most known songs like Deadlock. Yeah, you all know this. If you don't, check it out. Like I said before, my sort of respect for late 60s blues rock in England has really rose since I got that big collection of blues rock records, mostly blues rock records. And this was in there. Man, so glad that I found this in with this press and you know everything. This is Chicken Shack's OK Ken, their second release from 68 maybe, with this awesome gatefold cover, and the inside is also pretty cool, very sort of dull. Again on Blue Horizon, which is a label I'm going to seek out. See if I can do a sort of a want list of just Blue Horizon records. This is the first UK stereo press of this one. Okay, Ken, great blues rock. I mean, I will dig deeper into Chicken Shack's records. I have a few more that I haven't played yet from that collection. So yeah, awesome find. Glad to add this. And last but not least, this is one of the best, at least musical finds when it comes to the big collection that I bought. I had no idea about this more than hearing about it and seeing the cover and stuff like that, but I had really no interest really in diving into this group, not yet anyway. And this was in the collection, cleaned it. It's a little bit rare, so obviously I wanted to check it out before I eventually was going to sell it. But this is a keeper, man. Shit, this is good. This is free with tons of subs. They're self-titled, not self-titled. This is free with tons of subs. 1969, the first record. This came before the self-titled record, Free. Gatefold, and this is actually the first UK press on the Island label, which, as I said, is a little bit rare. But the music, oh my god, it's sort of defined as blues rock, but I think it's a little bit more than that. It's more of a heavy rock maybe than just blues rock. And it has some killer tracks on it that I have no idea but should have had some their fair share of radio play back in the day. Paul Rodgers that sings, he went on to form Bad Company. Maybe some of the other guys also went into that group, which is even heavier and heavier rock. This is better in my opinion. This is better than Bad Company, even if Bad Company is good. I mean, it's okay in my book. This is awesome. Maybe it has that little blues touch that it needs. Maybe, dare I say, a little bit progressive. I don't know what it is, but it's everything adds up. This is a 10 out of 10. If you don't know this, just like me, check it out. You won't be disappointed. And that's it. I hope you found some new tips of stuff to look for and to listen to. And if you have any questions, just write them down in the comments, and I'll answer every single comment that I get on my videos. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye. So thank you so much for watching the entire video. You are a true hero. And if you want more of these videos, I have 12 years of content somewhere around here. So just push the sort of the video button and you get all the juicy stuff. Have a great day.